Hi friends, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I know, long time no see, and I will get into this in this video. First of all, I would like to say my apologies. I apologize for being away for so long, but I also wanted to say my thanks because even though I haven't posted anything for the past 8 months, you guys are still checking in on me, leaving comments on recommendations, and checking on why I haven't posted any video so far. So this video will be a entire update on both my life, my reading, dramione, everything. Feel free to use like the technologies down below to just scroll through the part where you guys are interested in hearing. First of all, I'm gonna get into the whole life update situation because I'm gonna do this in chronological order because that's how my brain works right now. So anyway, I haven't posted any video because I haven't been reading much, and the reason why I haven't been reading much was because of one or two reasons. So the last time that we spoke was back in April, and I was going to Vietnam for my best friend wedding. And in the video, I think I mentioned that I had a very rough week before that week. And it was something that's related to my work. I've had like a very rough year at work from that point on. Actually, I still have a job, if that's what you guys are wondering. I was blindsided at work. I don't want to be like arrogant, but I've always been a high performer at work, and I thought that I would be, well taken care of in times of like turbulence and chaos and things like that. But it wasn't the case. Back in April, needed so much time to process what was happening to me, because just a little bit of time before, like, I was handpicked, people called my name specifically to serve, and then boom, I was cut, and there was the threat of being fired or like getting laid off looms over my head. And it was the reason why my attention span is so shortened, so I couldn't concentrate on reading anything. So in hindsight, the trip to Vietnam was God sent, and it couldn't happen at a more perfect time just to get my mind off of things. Certainly felt a lot deeper at the time that it was happening, so I wasn't reading anything. And then the summer comes around and things started to get a little bit brighter, but I had a little of an event myself, and that is I got married. Our wedding was back in July, so a lot of my attention during that time from like April onward was on either one or two things. First is like just getting my work in a fair, and secondly my wedding. But we traveled back home in June. We also traveled to China to visit our friend, and it was almost like a little like pre-wedding honeymoon type. And then we had our wedding where everyone traveled to Vietnam to be with us, so we also have to play host in Vietnam as well. And it was like really perfect. Couldn't ask for a better wedding, couldn't ask for like a better summer. I also didn't have any time to read or anything. Like, everything was on the go, everything was chaotic. So that's why I didn't make any video, because I feel like there wasn't anything for me to talk to you guys about. And before I started the channel, kind of like scared me that it's been like 3 or 4 years since I first posted a video now. And before, when I first started, I have a reservoir of fics that I haven't talked to you guys, and I can just like slowly work through my reading while using up my reservoir to recommend fics to you guys. But now that I've made the video for like a few years, like, I don't have reservoir of fic anymore, and my rate of reading is so slow that it doesn't catch up with my rate of recommending things to you guys. And I just don't want to recommend old things or things I've already recommended before to you guys. Like, I want to recommend gem, and that's why I didn't want to make any video. Fall comes around, there isn't anything else that I can do, so I started to read again. So this is the part where I talk to you guys about everything dramione that I have read ever since we last talked. This fell off my journal, so I just want to show you guys. This is from when I was trying on wedding dress. So the first thing that I read, unsurprisingly, was recommended to us by Rosie, because even though I haven't posted any video, I still check out comments from time to time. And I saw that Rosie mentioned A Love Measure in Tea by So of Tea, or Soft Tea. And this is a series of vignettes around teacups and, a blooming love, just like the blooming tea. You cannot go wrong with a series of vignettes. It's just a perfect little gateway piece to get me back into the routine. And I started reading this back in September, so just at the start of fall, when feelings are picking up and everything. And then after that, I read something that is so amazing. And I think the actual gateway that got me back into the whole reading mood and everything, and that is Stolen by Renown. And this is a Victorian era fic with a pirate Draco. He is at sea where he suddenly encountered this ship, and there's a beauty on this ship. Her name is Hermione Granger, but she was just babbling on about her sailing to see her husband Draco Malfoy, who she has gotten married to in proxy. So she doesn't know how he looks like, but she knows that she is sailing to him now, and he's waiting for her in London with Lucius Malfoy and her father. Like, need I say more? You guys don't know how happy I was when I stumbled upon that synopsis, because like I was not in the mood for reading. My attention span was in shambles, and I came across this piece that is so uniquely written, uniquely presented to us, that I was just such a happy child. But this story is some spice and some lemon, okay? So despite everything, the plot, the pacing, we also have some treat going on here, okay? So like grab your ice cream, read this story. I'm sure you will have such a good time. I fall in love with everything about this story. The next story that I read is another cutie piece, another cutie, very uniquely written piece as well, and it's A Wreck Walks into a Ball by Authors Holding Hands. And this story is, I think, a marriage law story, and in this marriage law world, the ministry is hosting a series of balls just so that the people who are affected by the marriage law can get time to get acquainted to each other and everything. You have a good time. It's a short piece of work. So are the ones that I read in this period of time. Like most of them are just short pieces of work because, like I say, my attention span was bad, okay? So I didn't read any longer piece of work. I enjoy every piece of this work. Like, it was just so cute. And like Stolen, A Wreck Walks into a Bar are kind of like two ends of the spectrum when it comes to dramione love. I enjoy both of them thoroughly, okay? And then the next one I think is a more of like kind of like a well-known piece, and this is I think a very long one-shot, and it's The Shape of an Enemy by Charing Fei. For some reason, this is also another marriage law story where they hate the gut out of each other, but they are paired and they gotta make do with everything. Personally, that's my favorite kind of marriage law. Reminds me a lot of like Bloody Slutty and Pathetic, when they just hate each other so much, but they fall in love regardless. And you know, that's like the most delicious form of falling in love for me personally. So if you guys miss PSP, you guys wanted to get that feeling of when you read PSP for the first time again, I think this is a great piece for you to like foster that emotion or that feelings. Okay, next, obviously we gotta talk about Galfoy, okay? Because Galfoy has been back, okay? Because like I think the last time I talked to you guys was Red Door 79. You guys actually was like screaming in my comments, in my inbox, like Galfoy is back, Galfoy is back. And ever since then, it's like Galfoy has just really gem upon gem upon gem upon gem for us. And obviously I went through all of them when I found out that she posted more than just Red Door 79. So the thing I read first is 5 Days by Galfoy. So first of all, the title 5 Days remind me of another 5-day work by Ravi Snake, and that 5-day story is among my top tier favorite when it comes to dramatic fanfiction. I don't think anything has ever come close to like dethrone that fic for me. When I read the title 5 Day, like my mind just instantly got zipped to that fic by Ravi Snake, okay? So this story is about a Draco who finally has a chance of getting the woman that he loves. So he is going all out on this game of winning her. It has so many elements of other Galfoy work in here that I just feel so nostalgic reading it, and it reminds me of other Galfoy piece, and for some reason like I just feel tremendous feelings tremendous emotion when it comes to this piece. And usually, you know, like I'm more used to a format of Galfoy piece where there are angst, there are drama, and then like the happy ending at the end. But this story is just tooth rotting fluff from the beginning to the end. And we also have a very, very understanding, very mature Ron Weasley. So if you guys are not into Ron bashing, if you guys are into more of kind of like a Ron Draco relationship, like friendship, this story is gonna be perfect for you. The next piece that I read is The Swap Box. All in all, is a classic Draco point of view Galfoy piece. This is a story where Draco has a coping mechanism of going on long walks around his neighborhood and everything to deal with everything that's going on in his life, where he stumbled upon a little swap box, and for some reason he just feel this urge to, this like drawn to come back to that swap box blah blah blah. So obviously the person who he is swapping things with is who we all know, but the story opened up for us not just, you know, with like Draco finding himself in the swap box, but also like Draco finding connection with Hermione after he finds out that Hermione is behind like all of these tokens that they are swapping. And to me, it's a very realistic character growth for Draco, because he has a lot of issues in this story and he has to go through all of that by himself. And it reminds me a lot of like Sweetly Broken by Lady Kenzie 347, where so this story reminds me a lot of that vibe where Draco has to go through that character arc by himself first and then, you know, get the prize at the end. Enjoy this so much, and I feel like all in all, this is like a classic Galfoy piece for me when it's like Draco point of view, Draco character arc, everything is just perfect. And the next piece that I read is Alone in Paradise by Galfoy, and I believe this is the last piece that she posted. And this piece, it reminded me so much of two other works. First is Out of Mind by Galfoy, and if you guys have read Out of Mind already, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. And secondly, it's a work by a prophecy girl, I think it's Mindbound. It's also another very classic piece of Galfoy work that I just like thoroughly enjoy. And again, like I felt that like nostalgic tremendous feeling creeping up on me, because I recognize elements from other Galfoy work. I recognize like details that reminds me of another Galfoy work, and it's just like I'm just sappy about it. It's what I'm trying to say. But among these three, if I have to pick my favorite, it has to be Swapbox. So after all of the Galfoy craze, I stumbled upon something that could have landed me a new Galfoy, like a new favorite Dramione author. I read a story that's called On a Scale of 1 to 4 by Parafo. So this story is about Hermione being a researcher, and she has this bright idea of surveying Azkaban's habitants on their living conditions. And there was only one person who responded to her. We all know what happened from then on, okay? And if you guys have known me, you guys will know how much I love Until the Ink Run Dry by Akio Mionia. And this story is almost like an itty bitty, fun, tooth-rotting flop version of Until the Ink Run Dry. And obviously there are angst and there are all the complications of Draco being in Azkaban, but this story is just like, it just makes you feel good. It doesn't have that kind of like knocking feeling that they're on borrowed time and something bad is about to happen. This is perfect, okay? And it's also in epistolary form. So if you guys are a sucker for like stationaries, letter, things like that, this story is gonna give you a good time, okay? I love this story so much that I actually went into Parafo profile and I figured out that they wrote so many other Dramione work, and I'm still slowly working through their collection, but I did read two other work from them, okay? And the first one is Not a Killer After All, and this story it's like a poem, and it's not kind of like a poem that people just hit enter so that, you know, it makes a poem, if you guys know what I mean. It's actually like a well-written poems, okay? 10-minute read of your time, but I'm sure you will have a good time. And after that, I think I read another one. I read another work by this author, but for some reason I didn't write it down. If I figure out what that piece is, I'll tell you guys soon, okay? I also read Go On and Fool Me by Sodam Rat. Sodam Rat has written so many other work that I have read and enjoyed with Hermione, but this story is a novelty AU story where Hermione, she needs someone who partner up with her for like a potion contest, and obviously there is no other better partner than Draco Malfoy when it comes to potion. And Draco, he needed someone to be his fake girlfriend, so they are kind of like fake girlfriend partner in this universe and trying to figure out things. And it's very realistic to me because they're still being teenagers in this universe and they're still figuring out, like, you know, biologically, super realistic, super like teenager coming of age to me, and everything is just super cute. I had a good time reading that. Talking about poem, I also read another work by Volfas Totem, and you guys already know my thing for Volfas Totem, okay? Like, I think this is like probably the third or the fourth work that I've read by Volfas Totem, and I don't think I have ever not enjoyed any work by this author, and they write everything in the poem format. But I have to tell you guys that there are a little bit of kind of like grammatical issues versus like typo when it comes to this author. Personally, I don't have any problem with it, but I just want to tell you guys. And the work that I read is The Light We Could Not See, and in this story, Draco is dying. So he figured out that if he marries Hermione and when he dies, like she will be able to inherit everything, like his fortune, his money, so that she can do whatever she wants with her life. If I had to vote favorite, this won't be my favorite Volfast Totem work. I enjoy this regardless, and it still have like all the elements of a full Volfast Totem story that I enjoy. But if you guys have never read anything by Volfast Totem before, I would recommend their other work. If you guys have already read Volfast Totem and you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and read this story because I know you guys will have a good Next, I read something that I was bawling. I was crying so hard, okay? And it was just like so, it was just so random. Like, I did not expect to cry so much over a Dramione piece because you guys already know I didn't cry with Manacle. I didn't cry with the other cry story, but I cried so hard on this one, and it's The Captain and the Rebel by Can't Touch This. And this is a story about Draco and Hermione falling in love over and over and over and over again over 3,000 years. And this story is a non-linear story, and at first, like, it was so hard for me to keep my head in this story. I tried to start this story like 2 or 3 times before, but I couldn't. And then that one time, I'm like, I read the synopsis again and again, and every time I feel this urge that I would enjoy this story so much. And like, I came across this story so many times, and I finally told myself, like, you gotta keep your head in this story and just finish this story. And let me tell you guys, like, that was the night that my life was never the same again, okay? Because the story is non-linear, and you're trying to follow, Draco and Hermione through all of these timelines, through all of these love story, and it was just so sad. Like, I was just a mess at the end. Like, I remember I got through like 80% of the story, and I finally caught on to what is happening, and I just started crying. I just started bawling my eye out. I'll leave some photos here, and my husband even took a video of me crying. I had such a good cry with that story, and I think that story will go on to list and favorite and top tier whatever of story that I will never forget, story that I will forever recommend when it comes to Dramione fanfiction. If you haven't read it, just go ahead and read the story, okay? And let me know if you cry, because I don't know why, but it just caught me in this, like. And then next, I read something that I don't know how to describe, and that's Hostage of War by Lady of Clune. Now, you guys know Lady of Clune wrote one of the classic piece when it comes to Dramione fanfiction, and that's Uncoffin. And that story is also another piece that no other story has ever come close to dethrone that story for me personally. And every time someone bring up Manacle, I will bring up Uncoffin, okay? Because Uncoffin is just that girl for me. But Hostage of War, I don't know how it makes me feel. It's a wartime story where Draco and Hermione call a truce, and they are kind of like hostage of war. Maybe my heart wasn't in it, so I couldn't follow the story, but I finished the story anyway, and I still want to talk to you guys about it. The last 2 stories that I just read this past week because I suddenly caught the nastiest flu of all time. I was having a fever for 3 days straight, and then I was bedridden for the rest of the week, including my birthday. Had nothing better to do than to read Cursed Marriage by Blue Zeldana, and I think this author has written other work that I have also enjoyed with Dramione before. And Cursed Marriage is another marriage law story. I'm not sure why I just keep landing on marriage law story in this period of time, but I did enjoy every single Dramione piece of work that is a marriage law story. It's my favorite trope, one of my favorite tropes. So anyway, Cursed Marriage is a classic marriage law story. I don't think there was anything that stand out to me when it comes to like marriage law wise, but I did enjoy everything about this story, and I did enjoy the pacing of this story because I came across this story in the thread where the person who requests a recommendation say that they cannot stand the relationship after they have gotten together. Like, they want the falling in love part, the clawing at each other, like the kind of like drama and everything type, and they wanted it just like how Bloody Slutty Pathetic is. Like, at 3/4 of the way through, they're still fighting, they're still doing stupid shit to each other. Person who requests recommendation wanted something like that. I'm somewhat of the same way, because after they get together, like, I don't want to I don't want that fluff, like, I want more drama, I want more angst stuff. Like, as long as you give me a happy ending at the very end, like, I'll be okay with it. I read the story, and the pacing of this story satisfy the criteria of the person who asked for the recommendation. So if that's what you guys are into, if you want that drama to continue on until the very end, this story is going to be perfect for you. I enjoyed it. It got me through whatever sickness I was experiencing, so it was a good read. Okay. The last story is super sad, and it reminds me so much of I Will Make You Proud by Where Does She Goes, because this story is from Hermione's point of view, and it's called Why No One Will Miss Me by Kitty Bush. So it's a story where Hermione doesn't turn up to work for 4 days straight, and no one is questioning anything. So Draco Malfoy took it upon himself to investigate the mystery, and he stumbled upon a box of her memory, and he figured out, you know, the life of Hermione Granger and how lonely she's been her whole life. This story is kind of like twofold, because there's the first part where Draco figured out the mystery with Hermione, and then the second part where they came together and kind of explored the world together. It's kind of like the opposite of what I just described to you guys with like cursed marriage. So if you guys wanted something that, you know, they are fiery, they are trying to, you know, figure it out the whole way through, then this story may not be for you, because they got together very early on in the story. If you guys are into more of like, I want them to be on the same team, you know, working through their problem together, then read Why No One Will Miss Me. So I also finished a book just yesterday, and it's a man called Ove, and I think you guys know about that. It's one of like the most popular reads, I feel like, from the past decades. And I also pick up books you guys recognize, and let me show you. Ta-da! And also Alchemize. Okay, why is this book so heavy? Like, why is it so heavy? Like, I felt the urge to just tongue someone on the head with this book. It's a thick baby, okay? And it's like, it's heavy. It's super heavy. And I have a thing that I don't really like hardcover. Like, all of my books, the one that I bought are softcover, paperback. And I don't think there's an option to get these in paperback. So I have to get whatever is available to me. I don't know if I will ever read them. Have you guys read them? You know, do you recommend? I know it's so weird, because like we have read these, right? Like, I heard that this story is not the Batmobile, so there are changes to this story that we haven't seen in the Batmobile. So I don't know if I'll read them again, but you guys think that, you know, it's good for me to read them, I'll start reading them. The last update that I want to give you guys is something I'm reading, and you guys will be proud, okay? Because I have finished the first 3 books, or the first volume of Lionheart by Green Teacup. I am slowly working through the 4th book in the very beginning of the 2nd volume now. The reason why I haven't pulled all of my resources into finishing that work is because I feel like I'm reading it too fast. You guys already know that Green Teacup is taking the work down, and it could mean anything. Like, I'm not following the fic live, so let me know if you guys have any other information. I'm thinking that she's constructing more pieces of work, so maybe more chapters will come up. Currently it's like 83 chapters. I'm on chapter 33 right now, 34 right now, so I still have like 50 chapters to work through. Even if it's a mountain, like, I'll work through it by the time, you know, she posted a new chapter, and I don't want that happening. That's why I take it very slow. I read it in concordance with other pieces. That's everything that I have read. I think this will be my last video for the year, but I have planned to do like a 2025 recap of everything lovely that I've read this year, because to be honest, like, I've read work this year, okay? Love in the Time of Zombie Apocalypse, things like that, Sacrilege, Just Interferences of a Midnight Paradise. So I hope you guys have a very, very merry holiday coming up. I hope you guys stay warm, and I will try my best to just give you guys update on Dramione that I have read. And thank you guys so much for staying, even though I haven't posted anything in the past 8 months. Share with me down below what you guys have been reading, because I'm dying to know. I'm dying for recommendations. Just like throw them at me. I'm in need of longer piece of work now. Stay warm, and I will see you guys soon, okay? I hope you have a good time hanging out with me. Love you.